I spent a few days in Austin visiting old friends. Since I live in Louisiana, the drive took an entire day. On the day of my departure, my friend Tom, whom I hadn't seen in years, commented on my Instagram post asking, "When are you leaving?" I told him I was heading out that day. He mentioned that he lived about an hour outside of Austin, in the same direction I'd be driving home. Meeting up didn't seem like a bad idea, so I gladly accepted his invitation. I set my GPS to his address and started the hour-and-a-half drive. Tom and I had met in high school but lost touch after graduation. We followed each other on social media, but hadn't had a real conversation in years. When I arrived, I noticed his house had an old-fashioned look, not run down, but aged. The wooden porch creaked under my feet, and when he opened the door, I was greeted by the scent of old wood and dust, as if I had stepped into a forgotten cabin in the woods. Tom was as friendly as ever. He hugged me warmly and pulled me inside. Some friendships remain untouched by time. The interior matched the exterior, furniture from the 70s, wooden floors that creaked with every step. The atmosphere was warm, yet strangely nostalgic, as if I had traveled back in time. We sat in the living room, reminiscing about the old days and drinking whiskey until the clock struck 5 p.m. I hadn't realized how one drink turned into another, then another, until I was completely drunk. The warmth of the alcohol made the room feel smaller, more intimate, but also strangely heavy. Time slipped away and we enjoyed our conversation until Tom asked the inevitable question, "It's a long drive home. Why don't you stay the night?" I hesitated, but he was right. I was in no condition to drive. I agreed and suggested sleeping on the couch, but he shook his head. "I have a guest room. It's not fancy, but it's better than the couch." We ordered Chinese food, and after eating, he led me to a small room at the end of the hallway. I was too intoxicated to notice much about it, but the air felt stagnant, as if the room hadn't been used in years. I didn't have time to think about it before I collapsed onto the bed, my eyes shutting from sheer exhaustion. In the middle of the night, I woke up suddenly. My mouth was dry, my head spinning, and the room was dark except for thin slivers of moonlight filtering through the curtains. Then I saw it. In the corner of the room, by the closet door, something was hanging. At first, it looked like a long black coat, but something was off. The upper part was broad, like shoulders, and the way it draped made it seem more like a shadow than fabric. My heart pounded violently. I didn't remember seeing it when I entered the room, but I had been drunk. Maybe I hadn't noticed. I turned my back to it, trying to ignore it, but curiosity got the best of me. I glanced back. It was still there. I squeezed my eyes shut and forced myself to sleep. I didn't know how much time had passed before I woke up again, but this time it wasn't discomfort that stirred me. It was a sound, a faint creaking, like cautious footsteps on wooden floors. I opened my eyes quickly, the dim light of early dawn creeping into the room. I turned toward the corner. The coat was gone. I jumped out of bed, my head still spinning, my body trembling from fear and the lingering alcohol. I scanned the room, but the corner was empty. Only the closet door remained, slightly ajar. I rushed to Tom's room, finding him deep in sleep. I shook him violently until he groggily woke up. "The coat," I blurted out. "The black coat that was hanging in the guest room." Tom looked at me, confused. "What coat? I don't own a black coat like that. I don't even have a coat rack in that room." I told him everything I had seen, but his serious expression convinced me he wasn't joking. He led me back to the room, and we checked every corner. Nothing. No signs of an intruder, no coat, No logical explanation. Tom tried to reassure me. Maybe you were in that half-dream state and imagined it. I wanted to believe him, but something deep inside me refused to accept that answer. As the sun rose, I packed my things and left in a hurry. The entire drive back to Louisiana, my mind replayed that moment over and over, the sight of that black figure standing by the closet and its disappearance with the dawn. Maybe Tom was messing with me, but if he was, he never admitted it. Or maybe there was someone else in that house, watching me as I slept, and they left before the morning came.